Hello, people. See who's out there. I forget there's a big time difference depending on the countries. So I thought I would share with you because people always want to hear your story. Because otherwise they don't sort of buy it, and if you haven't got the experience, because I tell everybody that you've got nothing to fear, nothing has power over you. So people are having psychic attacks, demonic attacks, negative beings interfering with them. So I thought, okay, I'll tell you my experience with the angelic realm and the demonic realm, and what happened to me. How I got into this wonderful situation. It's because I was new, and I hadn't been for my Akashic records, my past life. We all know there's demonic things out there and ghosts and whatever else. Because we brought up purposely to fear these things and told, oh my gosh. No one can do it for you. You've got to call in an exorcist and they can do it for you. So you're brought up with all this fear and thinking, they've got control over you, and we, terrified of the things. But none of us normally have experience with this. So I got started just purely doing my meditations. I was doing transcendental meditation. Anyway, and sending love and light out to everybody, on my own little mission, because everyone was in fear in the beginning and the lockdown. So I felt sorry for people because they were sitting and frightened of the virus because they hadn't realized that they've got control, and you have nothing to fear once you awake and you're speaking to your soul. Nothing will touch you, and nor will any virus or anything harm you either, because you have full control of your body and you're protected. But I didn't know who my guides were. I didn't know anything, literally. I just accidentally came across all this and hadn't gone into it, knew nothing. So anyway, I'll explain. I sat there and I'm doing meditation, and I happened to listen to a radio show, and there was a gentleman talking about the child trafficking and the underground tunnels and what's going on, and other people I'd seen these things sharing, or they'd seen stuff down there and hybrids and all these horrible things going on. And this man said, we need to send a lot of love and light to these children. He was a psychic guy, and saying we need to send people out there, send love to these children in these tunnels that are being trafficked and hidden and all kinds of nasty things. Very nasty things. So I thought, okay, wonderful. Of course, I've been doing every day, sending love. So my intention is sending out love around the world. So I sat down and I started meditating, and I meditated, and I basically send light to where these so-called children are. And I managed to tap in and I saw children in a cave. Sandy said, we're somewhere near a beach area, and I saw children all lying down. And looked about 10, 12-year-olds, not many of them, but there was children sort of stuck in the sort of cave, lying on the grass, lying in the sand, sort of in a cave somewhere. As these things popped up, because that's what if you tap into, you can remote view anything. I didn't know where these children were. Mine was just to send it and expose. So I was purposely shining a light to expose wherever these children were being kept and hidden. So these sites popped up, and I was just just lighting them up. That was my idea. And as I said, I saw these children, so now I see these children lying down and, wherever they were. And I was trying to comfort them, send healing from a distance. I was putting my arms around the children and so they would feel love, let them know they were loved. And I was trying to expose the locations. So, obviously, these people work with dark entities, dark beings, and nasty demonic sort of things. Obviously they're not from the light, these people. They have a dark agenda, people in this whole movement, naturally. And it's, anyway, you can go into whatever you believe and hear on stories. I'm sure you've all followed alternative channels, and they'll tell you who's behind it and all kinds of things. And a lot of psychics and people have done remote views and things and seen these things and told people and whatever. But little me, just thought, I'm going to send love. So I did, and I was loving these children. And next minute, this enormous entity appeared, and I'd never seen any, thing like that before. It almost looked like a Doberman, but it was not a physical being. It was a dark entity. So this massive, big, tall, black thing rose up. And it had eyes like, black, red, shiny eyes on his ears. It looked, yeah. So I knew it was a spirit, some kind of, dark thing. But I didn't give a toss, I had no idea that, whatever. And it blocked me. So whatever it was, somebody was pushing back and blocking me from doing this, because they picked me up. They tap in, obviously. So they blocked me. So I just thought, oh, well, never mind. I call in, I had seen beings around me because I'd meditated. I didn't know if they were my guides, if they were bad or negative or not. But they had come partying with me before. One was one of what Jesus had come with me once before. I'd seen, I don't know what other being, and they were two sort of alien type things that had appeared once. Small aliens, I don't know who the heck they were. Probably not, probably knowing me, they weren't really, friendly ones in the beginning. I didn't know. So I thought, oh, I'm going to call them in, these people. I said, hey, come on, whoever's there, come and help me. And we energetically managed to push past this dark being entity that came up and blocked. It really was like this black wall ahead. And I just thought, okay, you're not going to win this. And it was an energetic fight. There was a battle of consciousness, and we were pushing, it was a real block of energy. We pushed past it, and I was just determined to fight this thing off. So I pushed past it, and we carried on sending light and love to these children. And I thought nothing of it. And I went up to my bedroom, and it was in the evening, and something attacked me. Wow, I came under attack. And I wasn't sure where the attack was coming from, because it was just so bad that I was struggling. My heart was battling. So which I know they can do. They can remotely attack you. And anyway, I'm not going to mention too much, but certain government departments, 3-letter agencies, do this remotely, or assassinate people remotely. They give them heart attacks remotely and things like that. Because people believe it or allow this sort of thing. They don't realize. So I came under this attack, and I thought, oh my gosh, it felt like I was being radiated. So I thought, okay, well, I'm being targeted with 5G. Maybe they're, targeting specifically me with 5G, massive, it can. So I was like, oh my gosh, what's coming? And I was really battling, and I was terrified. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was battling with this, and I tapped in the corner of my eye. I also saw a reptilian into my room, a very big reptilian sort of, trying to enter my room. And this thing, I know, I tried, because like newbies, you don't know what we've taught is the Bible. So the first thing we do is say, in Jesus' name, get out. Of course, nothing worked, because you're fearing it anyway, because we think we haven't got power. We're giving our power away. Someone else can do it for us. So I was trying this, the cross, and nothing worked. And I was like, okay, this is not working. Because it never happened to me. I didn't know it could, you see. So I was like, oh my gosh, this thing has got... I'm frightened because I saw the thing, the attack. As soon as it attacked me, I tried. It was really funny, actually. Now I laugh at it. So I'm getting this attack, and I was battling, and I couldn't sleep. I could put the light on, and I was just, wow. So I joined this group, and there's a man. Anyway, I'm not going to go into... certain things I can't tell you, I've got to leave out, because it's also for legal reasons and other things. But I joined this group. It's a consciousness group. And, they had a whole website and whatever else. And this guy, goes around telling people that he can remove entities, he can remove attachments, beings, or implants, all kinds of things, you see. So anyway, he says, if anyone attacks you, all you do is call on him, and then he will, whatever. He just telepathically. So I tapped into him. And I immediately said, help, please, help, stop, whatever. Because I was so bloody tired. It took my energy out, and I called him to help, and immediately it stopped. And then he popped up. I was quite tuned in. So immediately he'd arrived. I saw him. He was there because he picked me up. Obviously, calling him and tapping into him telepathically. So next minute he appeared, but what he appeared as was not what people think and what maybe they are told about him. He appeared as a certain being. Which surprised me. I wasn't upset or frightened. I was like, oh, interesting. Because these are beings that we're told are negative. This man appeared as this being and tried to actually get in me, because now you've called them, you invited him. So next minute he appears, and I was like, oh, interesting. And I talked by his name. I knew it. And I said, oh, interesting. And then I said, no. I'm tired now. He thinks he's going to go. And I said, no, not at all. And off you went. But not aggressively. I was like, no, you're not. I didn't give you permission. So he, almost trying to conduit me, basically. And I said no, and off it went. But this demonic thing, had already attacked me. It had already, I was frightened. So I'd already given it power. And it had entered me. So I go to the bathroom in the evening, and I put on my bathroom light. It's dark. To look in them. And I looked in the mirror when I was washing my hands, and I shat myself. Because when I looked in the mirror, what looked back at me was not me. There was another being inside of me, and it was a really nasty, it was a man, the spirit of this thing was actually, whatever they sent against me was a man, a really nasty thing. I've never experienced anything like that. If you ever look back in the mirror and you look back and it's not yourself you're looking at, you would know what I'm talking about. It was like, oh my gosh. because you are looking through this other thing's eyes, and this thing, and I looked like a man. I mean, and I was like, oh my gosh. And so, of course, you're terrified. So now I'm asking people, because I'm new, I didn't know anything about this nonsense, and I bought into this, you have no fear, because we were told that in someone else's name, you've got to curse it out, or you've got to call a priest, or this is how they've done this. Everything you've learned in this thing is inverted. So whatever you've been told in our lifetime, you can basically turn it around, and it's not the truth. That's basically it. So, all right, I sat with this thing, and I was so tired. It was very exhausting, because physically it really was a really nasty attack. So I was physically finished. My frequency was down, and I was drained, and I'm in fear. And of course I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I know this thing's inside me now. Oh my, you're terrified of it, and you want to get rid of it. So I contacted, of course, him I'd emailed, you've got to ask for an appointment or something. So you've got to request for him, to do this thing. He says, send him a mail. So I had already sent my request in for him to do this removing. And then he said, okay, go to my website. And on my website, it tells you, if you get a demonic attack. So I got all this, and I don't know, because I'm a newbie. So I just think, well, they know, so I'll listen. And it says, oh, you've got to put a cast iron thing. Not a cast iron, but a real iron, something, a solid iron that's not made by, cast, that's whatever, made by ball, blah, 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 blah. Stick it under your bed, so far from under your heart when you go to sleep. You've got to do that for 2 weeks, and then, and then raise your frequency, and then that thing will leave, and then you've got to wear a pendant, an iron pendant around you. This keeps these things away, and all this nonsense. So I'm buying into this. In the meantime, they say, until you can get the appointment, you raise your frequency. So it took me a week or two to recover from the energetic attack, the physical attack, It was like, so I'm like raising my frequency, and and trying. They say do all these things to raise your frequency, and I'm doing that, and I'm thinking, all right, and my appointment's just about to happen. I'm very glad I was divinely guided not to go. So they'd happen to be listening. This is your divine guidance, like I keep telling people, synchronicities. So I ended up going on to YouTube one day, and a video pops up just for me, and I hadn't been searching any of these demonic attacks or any nonsense. Mark Boweski's video pops up about psychic or attacks or removing dark spirits or whatever. And I'm trying to find it again for everybody. Everyone should watch it. And this was a man, and I think I explained, had gone through a healing. He'd started becoming a healer or shamanic thing, whatever, and he'd gone through some shamanic training. And the person I think he did his training with was playing more in the dark. Any of these things, it's not really, he was more on the dark side. And after a while, he thought, no, he doesn't want to stay with that person. He wants to move. And he wanted to leave. And they kept attacking him. And he kept getting attacked. And he kept going to healers and shamans and paying money. And they'll remove it and put it in a bottle. And if it comes back, come back to me. Anyway, so this, like most people. So it's like the whole world's been. They don't want to give you power. They don't want you to know you have your own power, you see. Because otherwise, there's no control then. They can't control. No one's got control over you. And they want to keep control. So he explained this whole story, and after 3 years, he tried everything, and do this crystal, and do that, and put that here, and say that, and come healing, and I'll remove, like everyone does. Someone else has to help you remove it for you, you see. Anyway, it was funny. So I'm listening to the story, and he said eventually, after 3 years, he just finished the healing, and he sat down in his computer, and next minute, the whole thing got attacked. He attacked again, and he burst into tears, because he just thought, I can't live like this. It's ruining my life. His whole life was going to shit. It was ruining. He kept getting his attacks and, whatever. And he just thought, well, I can't do this anymore. I can't carry on like this because they're constantly attacking him. He burst into tears and he was crying, and his higher self got this inner voice, or intuition, said to him, nothing and no one has power over you. And then he heard this voice and he said, nothing and no one. And then he realized he was believing it and giving his power away. And he said that knowing just came to him, and he realized nothing, and that's it. You don't have power over me, get lost. And it was gone. And I listened to that, and the same thing, I just burst out laughing, and I realized. And I just said, exactly, nothing and no one. I thought, this is a joke, exactly. I'm believing it. He explained this. Because you believe it, you fear it, you're giving it. You have power over me, so I'm going to let you manipulate and torture me and try and play with me. Bugger off. So I realized the same thing, and thank goodness my appointment, that was the day before. And the guy actually had never got my email, it was cancelled. Because I would have bought into that, and then every time I had a problem, I would have believed other things had power over me, and I would have kept going to someone to remove them from me, and given, you're feeding the dark. So it was hilarious. So I realized that, and I just thought, right, stuff that. And that thing was gone. I got rid of it. Absolutely gone. No issues. But I did play, because then I knew these things. So then I did a lot of work with the angelic realm, because now, you want to fight. Because in the beginning you think, right, we're fighting the sides, duality. This is the planet. It's all about duality nonsense, the dark and the light. So you believe, okay, well, you've got to be on one side. And then in the beginning, you've got to learn all these things. So I was now, okay, we're fighting. So I'm now going to fight the dark, whatever else. So you focus on it. And I did work with the angelics. Not intentional meditations. Most of my meditations are not intentional. So if you want to help, they will use you. If you offer to help humanity or people, you offer for the highest good, or whatever your intentions are, to help healing, to help whatever, they will, because you're offering your services. So I can't remember what I offered, but I did. I want to fight, and I want to remove the darkness of whatever my mind was on, I was focusing on. So I'd sit and meditate, and poof, I'd just go. And I ended up, I can't really describe, I did describe them I shared my stories on my Facebook page much later. But I ended up 1 or 2 interesting places and buildings, and removing demonic things from people. In my astral exchange, I'd land in these places, and I was getting rid of demonic beings. And then I would end up working with angelics, which I did see, and other people verified it, because a lot of people, in this movement are awake, and they all get the same thing. And I still shared the day. I explained what day it was. And the same day, another man that's very tapped in, that does lessons, and he does with a lot of angelics, he said, yes, they told him a demonic realm was removed. Now, I was involved in that. Actually, I saw it. It was fascinating. And I saw them sucking these things off. It was on my Facebook page. I shared the description, what happened, the whole story. And I saw how they formed this like a wormhole, and they sucked these dark, grey, whatever, these entities off. So we did collapse a realm, and other people will tell you that were tapped in. They did. And then I did another one where I was working with the angelics. It was, you don't know, this stuff just happens. You don't expect it, you don't call for it, you don't plan it. And I was working with the angels, and I somehow was, in my thing, I opened a porthole, and I had to let a whole lot of, and angels just, my gosh, a lot of angels poured in. I just saw angels pouring in. And watching them, it was interesting. They were going around to graveyards and things. I suppose we have a lot of souls here that got stuck. They were angry, that we know ghosts. They don't know how to leave. They've been here for thousands of years because they believed they did something wrong. They're going to hell. All this nonsense. We were all brainwashed to fear, and we trapped ourselves because we were led into traps. So I saw all the angels pour in, and it was really strange watching them. They were going around, and you could see them. They were taking all these souls. So souls that were stuck, they were taking all the souls out. I did quite a lot, and then obviously because you're focusing on it, they did try and put things in my way in conduits, but I had massive protection. It was really strange. They did put someone, they conduited, because they can go into someone, and they can either come and visit you, they'll send them to come and visit you, and that thing will come out of the person, and the person will sort of go into catatonic trance, and that thing will come out and actually physically manifest in front of you. So other beings can do that. And I went on a walk. I could immediately know if someone dark or satanic came past me. I would immediately know. It's like my soul. They'd come down the road in a car, and I would know that van is dodgy and that guy is so dark. It would be like just instant knowing. And they would go past, and I would know exactly what's in that car, and I would know that person is playing in the demonic, working or involved in this nasty stuff. I would just know. And I went for a walk, and they did try, and a man disappeared. Don't ask me where he came from, and don't ask me where he disappeared to. But a very old man with a limp ended up never on that path, out of nowhere, walking in front of me. And this sort of, you knew something was wrong, because the way he walked, first of all, he was about his 80s, and you can see he was physically very fit and strong, very muscular. Although he looked old, had a sort of bald hair on top, and he had this sort of, and he was walking but very fast, and something just was off. And I just knew, my instinct just knew that thing was dark. He was not who he was pretending to be. So it was a trap. I knew it. I don't know how I knew it. It's the weirdest thing. And I saw him walking ahead of me, walking fast, and I just knew this was he wasn't what he was pretending to be, this, injured man, old man, whatever nonsense. So the weirdest thing was, it was like a no fear, because I'd already been through this nonsense, with this, I'd cleared this nonsense. And I was battling, I'm on the astral with Angelics. I mean, opening portals, seeing a demonic realm being moved and doing weird things. I was ending up in some strange places, official places around the planet. And, anyway, funny enough, as an angel, actually, you would land there with wings and I would be below. Anyway, that's not going into too much detail where I was and what I did. It was interesting. Even for me, it was interesting. I was like, okay, that was really interesting. But interesting things happened, yes. And then this gentleman was hobbling along in front of me, and I just thought, get behind me. And I walked. It's quite a narrow little country lane. You could really put one car in one car, and very seldom cars come down there because it's a dead end farm sort of road. And I just knew he was a conduit. He was a dark entity. And I walked this side, and I thought, you will walk behind me. You will get behind me where you belong. Who knows? It was just on a mission I was in. That was where I was at my level at that time. So I walked past him, and just a little past him, and a car came along. So we both had to move to the side of the road and stop to wait. So I just thought, you will stand behind me where you belong. That was me, because you want to play dark. That's it. Your time is finished anywhere on this planet. So I moved a bit in front of him, and he, was, say, 2 foot or so on the other side of the road behind me. And I had no fear, not a bit fear, because I knew they had no power over me, absolutely none. And it was so strange. I carried on, I left him, and I didn't even look behind me. I was like, you can just get behind, because you haven't got the power. And I just knew I had far bigger protection than he had, whatever. He was playing it. Don't ask me these things, And I carried on walking, and the man just vanished, turned around, and I don't know where he vanished to, he was gone. But they tried to manifest it in a sheep further on. The same sheep with the same limp appeared in the field by itself in the middle of nowhere. And that almost got me. And this little voice in my head said, the lost sheep parable? Don't leave it behind. And I almost fell for it. And I almost climbed over the fence to think, oh my gosh, where's it coming? Some farmer must have forgotten his sheep. Yeah, just one sheep in the field. Forgotten it, and I'll try and go to the farmer and take his sheep, and it's hurt, this is a thing. And I almost climbed over into the field, and then something just said to me, wait, this is not, it's not from this world. I was just told, this is not, it was strange, because you were so tapped in, this is not from this world. And I stopped, and a massive being, so my protection, I knew it, but I wasn't worried, because this thing rose above me. I had an archetype that stood over me. Whether it was, I'm not going to go into what it was, but it was enormous. I mean, the size of a 2-story building. This man appeared above me, over me. An enormous being. I thought, oh, my friend, mine is bigger than yours. Literally, I was like, you got no chance here. And that thing gone. It was gone. So I almost fell for that. They can do that. So I had interesting experiences back then. I was doing this whole thing. And they tried to give me something, but I chose not to. I don't want to fight. I'm not interested in playing the way. Those days are gone. And then I was offered a few people in this, because they want to focus on it. If you want to fight, to spend your time playing warrior, fighting the demonic realm, or basically they're gone. The frequency's risen too high. They bumped off the planet. We are rising. That dimension is too low, too dense. So they'll not be able to. They'll be off the planet because they cannot stay with the light and dense and the frequency we're holding now. So it's very few. That's it. They're gone. They're history, absolute history. So it was interesting because doing all this, one day I was sitting and I didn't ask for it. I was like, where the hell this thing came from? And I was just in my room, and next minute I tapped in and this massive sword appeared. The sword came down. And I was still thinking, where does it come from and why am I getting this thing? This huge sword came down. And it was almost like a blue, it reminded me of a Excalibur sword in a way, but it was a kind of a blue, I don't know, it's difficult to explain in the astral. And I thought, oh, why are they gifting me a sword? And I didn't actually want a sword because I'm not that kind of person. I don't want to fight. I want peace. I don't like to see harm to anything. I don't like any of this. So this sword appeared, and I thought, oh, okay, well, they're giving it to me. Am I supposed to take it? Maybe, for a reason I'm supposed to take it. So your instinct, I didn't feel like, oh, I'm, excited about it or happy. But I just thought it was, typical 3D, we've grown up. It's rude to say no. So this massive sword appeared in front of me, and I said, okay, thank you, but what is it actually for? Because a sword means to fight. And I don't want to fight. I'm past those days where I'm in war, fighting, anger, hate. I don't want any of that. I just want to see peace, and that's it. All beings, all peace, love for everything. So I didn't listen to my feeling, which you must do because you're new. And I said, okay, thanks, and I accepted it. And immediately it was like that's why I said Excalibur. I felt like this weight. It really was incredibly heavy and huge, and I felt way down. So I felt like the sword had pinned me into the ground. It was like Excalibur. So I felt trapped, actually. I felt like now this thing is nailed me down. And then immediately I felt not comfortable at all. I felt, no, doesn't feel right to me. It feels heavy. I feel trapped. I feel pinned down, which it did. So I thought, no, this is not good. Then why am I giving, where did it come from? So I tapped in and I said, no. I thought, okay, well, maybe this is a trap. I accepted the thing because we have to accept everything. Remember, everything is free will. Everything is free will. This is how they trick you. So I thought, okay, well, does this come from the dark? And it was a trap to pin me down so I can't carry on playing, fighting, whatever the story was, who knows. If you feel fear, you don't. So I calmly thought about it. I thought, no, bugger it, I know nothing's got fear, nothing has power over me. So I said, no, thank you. So I thought, okay, look, so I gave it back. And I said, look, thank you very much, wherever this thing came from. It's not my choice, not what my soul wants. My soul choice, I don't want to fight. I'm not interested. I'm not interested in fighting war. I'm past that age in that life, in this life, or in any life. It's not what I'm seeking from a soul. So from a soul perspective, I chose, no thank you. I don't want to go around fighting beings and, looking for enemies. I gave it back. And that was very interesting because as a soul, you can choose, as I say, as a soul, to do whatever. But that's what you will get. If you want to play, it's also an ego-based. You save people, fight. It's also because you haven't got resolved enemies and things inside you. If you believe something, so you have something to fight because it's nasty. So it was interesting that I turned it down, because I turned it down and I gave it back. And 2 days later, the Star of Bethlehem appeared. It was gifted for me. Peace, love. It was a much higher frequency, and it was a gift. So you get gifts even in the astral people and the soul level, depending on what you choose and what you want. So that was fascinating, because next minute a massive star came. I got my own star. I got this incredibly bright, like a Star of Bethlehem arrived. This incredible star protection around me, and I got given a full activation. My entire body, every cell activated. It was like my whole body was filled with teeny stars and lights. It was amazing. It was really amazing. I turned it down. Other people accepted it, but I didn't want to. That's it. It's not my role. My role is peace. I've seen so much suffering on this realm and all realms. It's time to an end. And we know it's coming to an end. It's time, this time. Because everything people have been taught is inverted. Everything you think is a truth is a lie. And same with this. We were purposely done all to give our power away. You have to ask a priest. You have to ask someone else. Oh, it's a whole... So I chose the right, for me anyway. Other people think it's right. They chose the sword or to fight. Well, that's their thing. But I chose not to. I want to see peace and help. That's I've always been and spiritual evolution as a soul. Yeah. So I had some interesting times. And then I had, same with the reptilian thing. People think, oh my gosh, you're frightened. They see them, they drop in. If you're going to go around and, I know that I've seen some things with them, and I've dropped into them, funny enough, actually inside some of them. Not intentional focus, but somehow they're able to take my consciousness, if they want to show me a warning or something, and put me, I'll go to Mars and they'll drop me right into this thing. I'm like, but it's weird, I'm guided. Before I start meditation, I'll just decide that morning, that meditation, to put call in protection and change my protection. Just out of, who knows, it just comes to me, change my protection or put protection. And sometimes I don't even bother, I don't need it. But I'm guided to put a certain fears and things around me in certain frequency, just out of nowhere. Or I'm guided to make myself invisible. And next minute, I start my meditation with no intent of anything, and I'll end up in Mars, smack inside a reptilian or something, or in a warning, because now, I saw there was a really nasty battle going on, and the reptilians were angry with the Andromedans and what was going on Earth, and oh my gosh, there was a whole, and I had to it was a warning. It was for me to warn people and to try and prevent it, and warn the council, whatever it was, to tell other people. But some you can't. So it was interesting. And then they would drop in. They'd tag you because you dropped in. And then I picked up a tracker from some of the places I ended up when I was in the Angelic realm. Obviously, they had people that picked up I was there and tracked me. So you remove it. Or I picked up, they would then wonder who the heck is this being now, that's now following us and declared us enemy, or warning people about, what's going on. I dropped into their ships. It's fascinating. Fascinating, actually. Absolutely amazing what you learn. So I was thinking, oh my gosh, what the heck's going on here? But you're in such a trance, you're taken. It's not that you're here. So they would then follow you because they know, and they now see you as a threat because obviously, you're now, whatever. So that was interesting. And then the last time they dropped in on me, I don't choose, you see. They're not my enemies. Nothing is your enemy. And if you understand, when you strip them from a soul level, that we all exactly the same as souls. Once you remove the body, or you leave this body, every single one of us is equal. And I mean it, absolutely equal. Whether they're an ET, whether they're human, when you lose the physical body, you cannot tell the difference as a soul. The only thing is the level of light, your consciousness, because that's you, how much darkness you have inside. So you shine brighter, or you have more energy, higher frequency, because that's you, what you've chosen to do. That's all it is. So it was fascinating. So I realized no one's an enemy, we choose. Beings want to focus on the dark. What I found with people is that the dark can consume you. You've got to be very careful. If you decide to focus on the demonic and the raw, it consumes you. That's the only thing you're going to get from it, benefit. The darkness consumes you. And I've seen many trapped souls here who had to let them back because they're frightened. They were told, they believed they're bad, they can't go. They believed they were evil, or because they've done evil things, now they're stuck. They get stuck in that, in their own hell, basically, because they manifested. And they become so dark they cannot find that light back, and they can't get back to source. So you've had to help people. You can watch regressions they do. You have to help people and back to the light, because they don't realize their light is so small that they cannot even see it in their own being. Because when you're dead, you are a being, you're light in consciousness. They cannot, you have to help them find that. It's just so they're filled with so much fear and darkness and dense that they actually can't. So this is what the angels I saw helping back as well. They removed a lot. So we have a lot off the planet already. They removed a lot. It was very interesting opening that portal and watching the angels come in. My gosh, I've never seen so many angels. Like, wow. They just flooded in, and they were going around, and I was watching them, and they were moving up. You could see they were grey, so you could see there were souls that were stuck, they were lost. But I've seen some really strange things, I must admit, very interesting things. Have no clue how I got there, no intention to get there, but I don't have any now, and they drop in. I have peace, and it's sad. A lot of these demonic entities we manifested, because we were shown by the church and given pictures to focus on. We focused all our anger and fear on those things. We fed them. We made them strong. And a lot of souls that got stuck here, and where we sacrificed or wanted to play the dark, sacrificed themselves, or were sacrificed to these things, witchcraft, whatever they're doing demonic sacrifices of people and all kinds of things. When those things were destroyed, which I saw some of them, and we helped. So when those massive, and they were huge and massive creatures were destroyed or dissolved, they basically just dissolved into teeny fragments of light. They were weakened and done away with. When they disintegrated, what was sad, what I saw, is that when they broke up, because it was a massive demon, I mean huge things, and many people have seen them. It's not just a person. But a lot of people focus on, well, anyway, we've all done our bit. I think it's done purposely like that. It was you chosen to help. What we are sent to protect us. We were all given different jobs and different times, so we don't know who is doing what. So this one does that, you come in, you blow, you're sending it out, you're weakening it. This one does it, whatever. It was like we all work on the planet. You are offered to help. So what I saw when this demon was completely destroyed, a massive nasty shame, is that it fell into teeny fragments. It became into teeny fragments of light. You know what those light, but teeny little bits of light were? Souls. All the souls that had been stuck and trapped by this thing, or trapped themselves because they feared it, or they were sacrificed to this thing, They were souls. It was so sad. That really upset me, because people don't realize that when they're happy to destroy them, but they didn't realize what this thing contained. That demon contained so many souls over thousands of years that had been maybe sacrificed to it, or been, frightened, exactly, who knows, whatever, given their power to it, worked for it, and been consumed by it. So their fragments of their souls and their energy and whole souls, it collapsed, and I just saw tons of it, and I had to call in the angelic realm to help take those souls back to the light, because I was like, oh, shame. It was so sad. So all these poor people, I don't know how long they'd been stuck in this thing, were just very sad, actually. And people were, okay, it's gone, and they didn't realize what they were doing. I said, that's fine, and it's sweep it in. They saw it dissolve, and then they wanted to sweep it under the carpet or sweep it into some vacuum. If you sweep it into a realm where they're trapped, just a space, it's stuck there. You are trapping millions or thousands of souls that were victims themselves. You're not doing anyone any favors. So I saw that. I thought, no, don't do that. And I called in the angelic. There's a lot of people took part in this. Probably about 1,000 people. And they were quickly trying to sweep it into a void. And I said, no. And I'm glad I watched, and I called in the couple of the angelics to observe and protect people while they were doing this as well. And I said, please don't, we can actually now, all those people were freed, and they can get back. So they'd been stuck for I don't know how long. That was very sad. So no, I'm not interested in any of that. I don't have any enemies. I don't focus, just peace for all beings, because I realize we've all been them. That's what you people don't realize. You have been many things besides human. The infinite, it's infinite out there. The universe, the creation, you can't even take a measure of source, of the creator. You cannot take a reading, energetic or scalar reading, because it's actually infinite. It is. And the universe is infinite. So we have no idea what's out there. The life forms, we've had interaction with certain aliens, certain amount, the governments, the ones who want to work with them, whatever. But they are far more. They won't, because we're not in a right space and good consciousness and whatever, that they want to work with us in the first place, because we're still our governments and our countries are very much in a dark consciousness. They want everything you're seeing right now is control, manipulation, coercion. That is dark, dense consciousness, because the dark still has rain, and that's what Source says. It's divine plan. I'm not worried. They've given it for a while, and it's necessary to wake people up, because people this has been going on, and they just were not aware of it, that this has been ruling your planet, that you've been completely deceived, and you've been living by that. And the dark is, this is whatever. So this has been given, the dark has been given, as you notice, what's going on the planet. When I asked Source what happened, that they've been given their time here for a purpose. So it's all good. Everything's divinely planned. So this is all, we all signed up for it, every single one of us on the planet. We know. We came here for our own purposes. We're playing something. So they've been given this, it's necessary. They've only got a short term, and then they'll fall. They will be removed off the planet. No matter what they try. It's a done deal. They're gone. The light's won. Absolutely won. But we have to go through this in order to wake people that they don't want to see their own darkness as well. We've got to empty our shadows. Our shadows, our attachments, whatever nonsense, baggage, hate, anger. Everybody has to look at their own darkness, remove it. Every soul is called now to make a choice and to look at the world that we didn't want to. No, we don't want to know. It's not our problem. It's somebody else's. We have to see it. So they put up there, it's pushed, it's why it's so bad, to shove it in your face so you realize this is what you've been living under. This is what we've permissioned, allowed, ignored, tolerated. So this is what I was told by Source, why it's happening. And I was told not to worry. I'm not worried at all. I knew it was a divine plan. Absolutely knew that. When I saw them I saw it was rolling out. I'm thinking, oh, this is, they basically got control. I thought, and I went up there to ask. I went straight to the angelic realm. Boom, ended up there, and I asked, what is going on? And they said, everything's fine. And I felt in your soul, you just know everything's good. Everything is good. It's meant as it's meant to be. And every soul has a choice to make, and they, will make their choices and whatever, and that's their path. they have to live with that. Whether they're going to reincarnate back into the darkness and they want to live a really nasty life and an incarnation or whatever, or ascend up or get to a better, it's up to them. Because everyone has free will. Absolutely have free will. And this is all about now as well. What we permission and what we allow. So it was interesting. So yes, I've had many experiences with many different beings. And I'm glad I'm just too old for that nonsense. I'm just like, oh, people, you've all got to grow up, all of you, you know. Bang your heads together and here you are. I want, anyway, I'm lucky. I chose rather the evolution, peace, more enlightenment. That was the path I chose. I'm not interested in, I'm just so tired of, I don't want to see any hate, any fighting. I don't care what beings are and what body they hold. Actually, they all come from source. And these people, they will learn. They want to play in the dark. I've seen the dark consume people because you focus on it so much. So much hate and anger you put out. It's them. They don't. You got to look inside. There's a lot of unresolved issues. That darkness, if your whole focus is on it, consumes you. And you get lost. And I've seen that. It's very sad. So no, I chose a more enlightened path. I'm very happy. I've met some amazing beings, wonderful beings out there, and they've showed me a lot, and I understand much more. Yeah, none of it's bad. We're told that, we believe, and I know everything we've been told and we've been read to books and the Bible has been purposely put out there. It's inverted and misled us. So everything here in this planet has been about manipulation, control, coercion, and that's exactly what's going on, especially with global governments. It's interesting, and that's why it's necessary to really they have to really have it in their face now. It's just time. It's divine time. It's our time to move up as a planet, as a species, humans. We basically all souls agreed to, and the planet's agreed to. She's going up. She is going up, and nothing will stop it. No matter what they try, they're not going to stop it. With their technology, with everything, they will not stop it. They're trying very hard to try and convince people and trap them, push out their technology so they can have even more control and suppress them. And they won't be able to wake up or won't know or won't see everything. Doesn't matter. It's not going to happen. So yes, they will lose. And each person, that's why your soul's trying to wake you up. Each person has to make a choice now. They know we're living through end of times, end of days, whatever you want to call it. Depends which book you're following. There's no doom and gloom. It all depends on your choice. All the prophecies, the Hopis, everyone's talked about it. The rainbow people have risen up. This is the time. And we as a planet, as a being, as source, as universe, everyone's decided. And everyone's, this is it. It's time now. Their reign is over. It's humanity's now needs to evolve. So this is really what's happening. And each soul is called to go within and to face your own darkness, your own fears, your own anger, your own hate, your own demons, and to look what we've done outside. And no, we don't want this. Is it right for us to be told who we can visit, what we can do? You will do this, you won't do that, you can't fish here, you can't. It's just ridiculous what we've done. And that our food is poisoned, our air is poisoned, our water is poisoned, our medicine is toxic. It's just beyond. But it needs to be beyond that too extreme for people to realize how dark and how nasty things have been on here. Because they've been keeping you very busy that you don't want to see, and I've got my job, and everything's fine, and I don't want to. This is why. So yes, that's it. You choose, and then that's the earth you're going to carnate into, or the next life you're going to come back on. So you might not, if you choose a not such a good path, doesn't mean you're going to come back to a very better thing. So people think, oh, well, I can do what I want, and I'm going to go up, and I will have a better carnation. I can go to the new earth. No. Each soul has a choice. So the world the darkness that they want to create you, and this tech control, half robotic human, transhumanist, if you make the wrong choice, you will get that. And so that's the world you will create, and you will choose, and it's not a nice one. I've seen it. It's not nice at all. They showed me 2 Earths. So those humans that are choosing this technocracies, control, manipulation, transhumanism, DNA, change alter your DNA and connect with a robot and all that kind of stuff. It's very not nice. You're choosing a destructive, desolated planet. But that is a choice, because you have a right to choose to experience that or live in that really nasty control thing. That's where you will go. And those that choose unity, love, peace, and with all beings, like now you want to clean up Mother Earth. You don't want all this. The ones that want to be organic, that understand, that want love, that want peace, that want unity. Beautiful. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. But there are people that have a right to choose. They want to choose this, be droned, be monitored, be watched, be tracked, be, complete control. The government knows what you're doing, what you're reading, and social credit, and then, change your DNA and become, put a microchip in you and connect to a robot and be half robot, half human. They have a right to do that. If they want to entrap their souls for another 2,000 years or until the next 12,000 cycle, they have a right to do that. So their souls will be trapped in some, AI robot for the next, probably, I don't know, the cycles normally go in 12 or 26,000 or something years. I'm not sure. I don't know. But until they decide to wake up. But I don't know how they're going to be woken up once they're genetically modified and basically half robotic and full of metals and attached to a computer. I don't know. Especially those that agree to give their consciousness to the chatbot, to Google. Google chatbot is your soul. You are signing to say they can keep your soul in AI after you die. Your soul knows what's going on as well. So it's a soul. It's got to be on some sort of soul level that you're agreeing to give Google chatbot your consciousness or your soul. Or your soul would not allow you to. It would wake you up, or something. Your instinct, your intuition would tell you, no, don't do that. So some people's soul are allowing this. It's an experience they want. We've got to understand and respect that. People that want to be sort of half transhuman, half, and have AI controlling their mind and not thinking for themselves, that's, for me, you've got to be out of your mind. But that is their soul's choice. So maybe they're on a lower evolution, or who knows? I don't know. They will wake up. Remember, they're eternal. So they will be trapped. As long as they carnate into that body, they're trapped. They're completely controlled by artificial intelligence and everything else. But when they die, it's a different thing. Your soul is free. So it depends on their evolution. But I mean, I can't see them waking up, because then you'll keep going and keep recycling back in the same trap. Those who willingly sign their soul over to a chatbot, to Google, to go into an AI, and your soul will be trapped into a computer. I don't know how they're going to, Your soul can escape anything. But I wonder how long it'll take them to wake up and realize that they're stuck inside a PC. And whatever they're going to put them in, I don't know. They have technology to do it, actually. You'll see, they have technology now. You can choose a younger body, and they say we can take your consciousness. That's how people haven't clicked yet. And put it in a new body. So you can choose a younger body. What is your consciousness, people? Not your brain. Your soul. That's what your life comes from. Life force, when you die, leaves. That's what they're putting into a new body. So they have the technology. They've had it a long time. It's alien. It came from the aliens, actually. It was given to them. To be able to take your consciousness and put it in something and transfer it. And they've been doing it for nasty purposes. But I'm not going to go into all the nasty things that are going on out there. They've been doing it. There's been, besides the demonic things, we have a lot of nasty things going on, and nasty beings that they've been working with. Anyone that wants to control, manipulate others, and is not coming from the light, to put it that way. It's not at that level of consciousness. They're still in a very dark, dense. They're in this dimensional space. So there's a lot of it out there. Our governments and military use these things. But yeah, that's up to them. That's their thing, as I say. And they must understand, just because you can say that I'm the government, I didn't know. You know your consciousness. We all know what's right or wrong. If you have to break your orders, or any of these things. You also know when you sign up to these things, you're telling the government, well, you can read your contract very carefully. Every fine print. Most people don't read contracts in fine print. People should pay attention. You know what is right and wrong. So you can't say, I'm just following orders. That doesn't work either. It's a soul. These are all soul choices. It's fine. They go off and they come back again. That's their thing. And so it's up to, everyone has to make a choice. Every soul has the right, it's free will, to be dark, to be good, to be trapped, not to be trapped, or whatever they want. So there we are, people. I think that's enough for the day. But I thought I'll share that one. It was very funny. I bumped into a few of those things, and you learn yourself, and then you realize you're not. But when you first see them, even psychic people will try and psychic attack you. Nothing, no one has power over you. Absolutely nothing. They can try. They can try and do all kinds of things to you remotely. The minute you realize you tell them piss off, they do not have power over you. If you realize that, if you frighten them with you, like you block them, you can. So no, you can actually. That's it. But also to choose not to look for a fight, not to play, not to take sides, because we understand there isn't any. And that's why we were given free will. Absolutely, we have a choice. We're allowed to do that. You want to play dark, but everyone must understand it always comes back. It's like you sending love and healing to people. That comes back to you. You sending death, destruction, trying to kill someone, trying to destroy them, harm them, manipulate them, whatever you want to do to them. Understand, the universe gives that back to you. Whether it's in this life or the next one, you don't want to know. But it will come back to you. So the best is to send out love, peace, wish peace, love, unity, whatever to the world, healing to other people, to Mother Earth. It comes back to you. That people must understand. And I saw that when I saw their souls stuck in that thing, I was like, oh, wow, that was so sad. I was like, wow, I'm so glad I had called them in for that thing. It was like, oh, shame, those poor people. But, yeah, the time is over of this. It's time for us to all to wake up. But this is why people are being hit by their guides with synchronicities. I'm seeing numbers and this and that. I'm seeing 6, I'm seeing 555. I'm seeing feathers. I'm seeing owls. I'm seeing this. Well, yeah, that's it. You're called to wake up right now. You're supposed to, you chose to come here through this great awakening and through the end of times. You didn't, not to sleepwalk, to be awake, to choose. Am I going on this path to the very dark, desolate, looks like Mars, the robotic AI route? You want to go to this AI, drones, robotic future, transhumanism? It's like a Mars existence. Or do I want to have come back to Earth, a beautiful Earth, love, heaven on earth? The peace, harmony, all beings, it's wonderful, living in touch with nature. It's amazing. I chose that one. It looks much better. But that was me. All right, people. So I thought I'll share my story with you. So it's not coming from nothing. It's because I've been through all those. People have tried to psychically do things to me, whatever. And in the beginning, I was like, whoopee, Bye-bye. Don't even try that nonsense. Understand nothing has power over you. Don't fear them. If they appear in your room, they try to drag you out. People say they get sleep paralysis. They do that. But remember, all you need is consciousness. So even if you can't move, you tell them to take a flying hike. Get out. I do not consent. Get the hell out of my house or out of my body or whatever it is. And you don't allow. If you believe something can get inside you, if you believe, oh my gosh, it can, in the beginning I let them come in because I wanted to help them back to the light. So I'd put this thing around me. That was probably part of my lesson as well, to learn. So they would come in and I'd immediately feel them and know. And then I'd tap in, who are you? And all right, my name is so-and-so. Okay, right, my friend, this is my body. You're not having it. But, let me help you back. And I'd call them in and help them back. And they lost. And then I said, no, I'm tired. I don't want to do this anymore. I can't, know how to do that one. Thanks. And then I'd put a thing around me so no one can attach to me anymore. But if you believe someone can put implants in you, attach to you, do this to you, put attachments in you, do that, it will happen to you. Because you're giving them the power and permission to do it. Doesn't matter what earth or planet they're from, or dimension, or being, or whatever else. All right? And fear nothing and have no enemies and hold no hate in your heart. That's the difference. You've got to get to that point. Well, you can do whatever you want. You can go and fight, these things if you want to. You're welcome. I've been there, done it, and so that's my own personal choice. I've chosen peace, and I'm going to source when I've finished. Because I'd like to, we've been in thousands of years kept in darkness. We didn't wake up. We've been dreaming and going around in this slave system here, working and dying and working and dying. So now I'm kind of tired of it. So before I do my next carnation, I've seen a few of them, I'm going to source. It's wonderful. Oh my gosh, it's so amazing. So I'm going to source, because I've always sought the spiritual enlightenment path. Even when I was asleep, I didn't know. I kept looking. And I thought, I was going to join a monastery. Then I thought I'd becoming a nun. And then I looked at the Bible. I did the whole thing. I walked the talk. I was a real Christian. I tried all these things because I just, you knew I was looking for something. It was more. I always wanted to know the meaning or the reason for the real depth of it. Because we were asleep, we didn't know. And when I woke up, I was like, oh my gosh, it all makes sense now. And I know and see everything. And I can ask anything. So it's wonderful. All right, beautiful people. So there we are. Fear nothing and nothing has power over you. And if you believe it's going to, oh my gosh, this can attach me and that can do that to me, well, you know, you'll find out. You'll get tired of it after a while. And when you want to stop playing, then you just tell them to get lost. No, they don't. And you call in whenever you want and do your protection. And you'll know when these beings come in. So the more you hold love, I mean, yesterday I had a beautiful, I don't know what it was. I was too tired, I wasn't really bothered because it doesn't matter to me. And I know they're there. And I was in bed, I was trying to sleep, and my gosh, I had this shiny, whatever it was. Because I was saying thank you to them. I was thanking all the beings. There's so many beings helping at the moment. And one of them dropped into my room, and it was by next to my bedside table. And it was so bright though. So it was like, I was like, wow, God, good. You know, the light was like, sure. So I just said, thank you. You can hang around if you want to. And just thank them. And thank them for everything, all the helping humanity. For anyone that's helping Earth at the moment, helping raise the consciousness, raise humanity. You know, for good. For the greatest good of everybody. For peace, for unity, for love. I thank them, all of them. And there's a lot of beings here helping. Other dimensions, aliens, a lot of people helping. Tons of you. You on Earth, you connected here to play a role. Maybe that's why they're trying to wake you up. You connected here to play a role. So maybe that's also, you're supposed to be doing your job now, whatever purpose or whatever you agreed to do on this planet, or take part in. That's probably why a lot of people are being, you know, seeing synchronicities and numbers. It's like, hello, you need to wake up now. And, you know, you've kind of agreed to do this. But you can also change. Once you're conscious, you're able to break contracts and change your soul contracts, bonds, agreements, promises. You can also change them. Always have free will. Just remember that. Everything. Okay. All right. I've had enough. I'm tired now. I've had a long day. I did Akashic Records for you, and I'll be uploading the Akashic Record, the whole interview. She sent me the link, but the link's not working because she saved it as a child's video or something, so it won't allow me to download it. So now I've got to download it somehow and put it onto my YouTube channel for you. But we had a good chat about the whole Akashic Records for you. All right. So yes, there are angels out there. Yes, there were dark. There's some nasty entities out there, but most of them are gone, and they can't bother you if you don't fear them. And no, you don't have to ask an exorcist. You don't have to ask a healer. You don't have to ask a church. You don't have to ask who's